Today we'll be setting up a new Linux install. So this is a fresh Linux install, almost nothing on here. And we'll be preparing our computer to do some Phyloinformatics. So for your day-to-day informatics work, because you're encountering a lot of the same challenges, you need to, it's efficient to build up a list of the commands which you use. So here I always have a text file on a desktop where I make notes of commands, and here I've done all this. In the past, I've of course got a new computer, installed Linux, and is a set of commands to install some basic things that I need, which is the same every time, and I've recorded them here so I can just repeat that process quite easily. So this is Ubuntu Linux, and we're going to install a few basic things we'll need. So always the very first thing is build essential. These are a set of tools for compiling. So in Ubuntu Linux we use the apt-get install command. We use sudo, which is root access, which means you're going to compile something. We're going to install some new software. We need to have this what's called it's like an administrator access, which means we have to sometimes when we use a sudo command we need to use our password. Then so this is a standard installation command for. In this case, this is the tools where we are installing here, build essential. Type Y. Okay, so this will install a set of tools for compiling software, which enables the most important thing we need. So for example, GCC new compiler, C compiler, enables us to compile other things later. So let's go through a few more of these things. We will definitely need to use R at some point. So here we install the R environment, very important. Maybe we want BioPerl. Some libraries for p-threading, which is parallel computing. Tools for also from MPR, which is a different method of parallel computing. So I'll try these. I don't know if these are in earlier versions of Linux. This seems not installed by default, so I'll try. I'm not sure about this version. We'll see. Fortran. And maybe Wine. This enables us to use some Windows software under Linux. and then we'll install some Phyloinformatics software itself. And we have an error message. Okay. Unable to fetch some archives. Apt-get update. We need an update. And this looks like a Fortran, maybe a Fortran compiler. I seem to remember R uses Fortran. I'm just going to install this also. It's not working also, but let's try R again. Okay. Okay, it's installed now. Although some error message, it is actually installed. Okay, where are we? BioPerl. So Perl is, the Perl environment is always installed in Linux by default, but BioPerl, we can add that. Maybe a good idea to restart the terminal. Getting a lot of error messages for some of these, but we'll try another one. We'll try entries direct. Okay, well that one has worked at least. Okay. So this is for libtool is required for using TreePL, although it's actually that is not in the documentation. That's something you have to figure out yourself. Java runtime environment, you'll need this for using Victory. So I didn't have much luck with the source, so we can just try the executables. Okay, well that's running. Let's also look at XML. So got XML version 8 to XML version 8, which is one of, I think it's one of the last ones of the original XML. I'm not sure this has been developed, but it's excellent. Excellent tool nonetheless. There's also, we have XML, which is good for genomics, phylogenomics, and also XML and NG, which is the next generation version of XML, and they're all useful for certain things. So I recommend installing each of these. But for now, let's have the original. Okay, so okay, so this, now if you look in this file, this is where the software is compiled from source. Now if you see these O, this means I have previously compiled the object files, so this needs cleaning, and then you will remake the object files, and which might be slightly different for the system. So usually so as a make. Okay. So we'll just delete them ourselves. Okay. So we'll make perhaps we'll make GCC version. Okay, no error message. And here we have, yep. Okay, so this is okay, so that would be the standard command, but it's not installed, although we compiled it. We can run a command, run an executable in the working directory with the // so that should, yes. So this is XML working, and then I recommend keeping multiple versions of XML and naming them accordingly, depending on which version. So this is XML version 8.2.4, so I'm going to rename this. To the version. Okay, so that runs under this name, and then to get it finally properly installed, we need to copy it into a certain location, which is and we need the root. And finally, this will run from any location. Okay, so we've installed XML Blast. We are downloading. Okay, that's quite slow. I'm going to look at another one I put on here was FastTree. FastTree is very simply named and says what it does. It builds FastTree is interesting in that it's C code and it's only in a single file, which I really quite like. Instead of if you want to hack the software in some way, make some kind of change to it, then you know exactly where to look because it's only one file. And also it's like entirely self-contained. There's no other libraries required. So it'd be nice if more people would build their software in this way. And I did make I've made a change to FastTree myself. I actually, for very large constraint files, you need to increase the buffer. I increased this to 80,000. Just so I could make the much larger constraint files. But anyway, so we so as it's just a single file, it's quite easy to compile. Quite simple to compile. We're actually just using GCC on a single file. Yes, and yes, that's working. Okay, so we have FastTree installed. We have XML. We have the NCBI entries, the command line tools. We have R. Now we're just waiting for Blast. Okay, so plaster's finished downloading, so extract. Executables are usually okay. The executables are usually in the bin folder, and we have so again I recommend changing the name to incorporate the version, as we often have multiple versions for reasons I'll get into later. I think this is version 2.12.0. And that's working. So we've installed Plast, XML, FastTree, or Entries Direct. Okay, so I think that's enough. That gives us quite some abilities. So these are some of the key tools in Phyloinformatics.